Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello, welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm sitting here in my studio with my guest. I have already given her a secret task. She's going to report back. Everyone, please put your hands together for Rory Uphold. Tony, I did it again. Hi, hello, welcome. I did it again. I did the thing where I fucked up the intro.
How so?
Well, because I think the way you're supposed to do it from maniacs like Jimmy Fallon, this is what I've learned. Did you read that article?
Yeah,
Did you read that article about him?
I have not read that article.
I fell asleep reading it last night, but everyone keeps telling me to read it. So I fell asleep because I was tired. I don't think it's because the article is boring or anything. I don't think that there is like a true smoking gun in the article like I want there to be, but there still seems to be enough that like he seems like a jerk to work for.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a definitive article, but I just kind of like got the headlines. But yeah, I don't know. Here's what I will say though, a personal experience of the handful of late night shows that have played.
Tony's in a rock band.
He is the only host that actually came to the dressing room and said hello to us and talked to us for a little while.
What an asshole.
Yeah, I just saying.
I was kind of, because I've heard people be like, it's no surprise really, but to me it is kind of a surprise.
Yeah, I think
it both is and it isn't. Like on the one
that's
hand,
how I feel.
like, wait, we're shocked that someone in entertainment is hard to work with.
Right.
Oh my God. That's
stunning.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, like I was like, isn't his whole thing that didn't we hate on him like a decade ago for being too nice?
Yes.
He was like the too nice guy. That's why we didn't think he was funny or something.
Right. But is he the one that like tousled Donald Trump's hair?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
So he got Trump elected by fidgeting with his hair. No, but I think that people are like, he's like, he softened the edges of this guy. My thing is just, he's been in the public eye for so long. How did it take so long for all of this to come out? Unless maybe people in the know
stories.
That's true.
I mean, I know a lot of stories that have been killed in the last couple of years about very prominent comedian people.
Are you going to tell us any of them?
Cannot.
Damn it!
Really do not want to end my career
and we're done.
Well, that's all she ever wants.
The dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like
I'm happy to give you the dirt.
Off air?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
I can't wait for this to be over, but please don't change the shit out. No, but so anyway, the way I botched the intro, Tony, was I'm supposed to explain who she is, supposed to give her credits, but withhold her name so that then they're like on the edge of their seat. They're like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And then I say, please put your hands together for Rory Uphold.
Yeah.
But I didn't
and
do
then they're
that.
like, wait.
But
who?
No, but they know because I explained
that
you're the host of Crimes of the Heart podcast. You're self-described obsessed with skincare.
True.
Which appealed to so Jackie Johnson
is our
mutual friend.
Yes,
she recommended you, and she said that she gave all the things that I forgot to mention in the intro.
It's all good.
But then said you're obsessed with skincare.
Yes.
So this week, a lot of skincare questions have been coming to me, and I've just been like, I wanted to actually email you with my questions, and I'm
perfect.
like, no, I'm just gonna wait till you're here. Here you are. But anyway, but also you're a multi-hyphenate.
Yes,
you're a director. You're a performer, you're an artist, and you're a songwriter. Now, when I Google you, Canadian singer-songwriter comes up, but I know you grew up in LA.
Yeah.
Please,
I didn't make my
Wikipedia,
so I don't know how that. I think
it was IMDb that said this, but still.
What?
So wait, is any part of you Canadian?
That wouldn't. Yes, I have dual citizenship.
Oh, okay.
So I have
it is
two socials. Yeah, it is accurate. Everything on the Wikipedia is accurate. I don't know that it would be on the IMDb. I don't know. I didn't write it, and I don't know how to change it. So it lives there, and there's some very weird credits, and then there's other things that just aren't on there that I would be like, you would think that they would maybe mention that.
Yeah,
but nope.
Well, my Wikipedia page got erased. I had one for years and years and years and years.
How is that even possible?
I don't know. So anyway, I thought I'm going to check this.
Yeah.
Like I never look at it, but I thought I'm going to check it just to make sure that like, you know, gobbles gigantic cocks isn't like one of the categories or something.
Wait, I'm sorry. Would I be doing the gobbling?
No, mine.
Oh.
Although I did listen, I listened to the most recent episode with Akilah Hughes. Is that a recent episode or is that a replay?
It's the first one. It's the replay.
Okay.
September, I'm just playing 4 old ones.
I
and
love
then
that
getting
idea.
back to October, I'm doing a whole thing on ghosting.
Okay, I love that. But anyway, I know that you have no problem with
Gobbling.
giving blowjobs.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas your guest was talking about how like
She
has to think about
numbing spray.
she uses a throat numbing spray and she has to think about Christmas while she's doing it. I was like, oh my God, I relate. I
Not
love
to
that.
get too TMI, but I feel like I can.
This is a TMI space.
I fully, for like a month after that, every time I was like going down on a dude, I was thinking of Akilah, thinking of Christmas. And I was like, girl, you are like ruining my sex life because I should not be thinking of you.
Right.
Thinking of Christmas.
Right. But how can you not? It's
But how
it's
can you not?
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, I looked at my own Wikipedia page just because anyone can edit anything into there. So I just wanted to see.
Coming full circle.
Yeah. Like,
How
has
mine
that,
is
you know,
weird.
yes, exactly. And anyone can edit anything in there. They just edit it out of existence. And then there's like a tab you could look at, which is like history or whatever. And anyway, it was determined that don't reach the notability criteria anymore.
What?
I think I was notable. I feel like I don't want to sound paranoid, but I'm like, are these a bunch of like Adam Carolla fans? Because while I was on the Adam Carolla show, then I was notable enough. But now that I'm not on the show anymore, it's like I'm not notable anymore. So of course I
Do you
didn't.
think you got trolled?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it sounds like you
That's
did.
what it feels like.
Yes, that's what it feels like to me too.
And so then I'm just going to tell the story.
Yeah, tell
This
the
is
story.
it's super embarrassing.
Let's go.
Because this is a sliding doors moment of ego. This is what I'm going to move over. It's like Neil Brennan's 3 mics. This is Allison's 2 spots in the studio that are 2 inches apart from each other. Here's what I want. I'm over here now. I wanted to be like, and then I thought, you know what? Who cares? Whatever. These things come and go. I can't control it. I know I still exist in the world. And
Can confirm.
I'm just going to thank you very much. I'm just going to keep doing what I do. And eventually, you know, maybe I'll have one again. And also, who cares?
Great. Yes.
That's what I want.
yes.
Moving 2 inches to the right now.
Moving back to who you are.
Yes. So what I actually did
Yeah.
was I was like, do I know anyone who edits Wikipedia who can get this reinstated? I don't. But you know those sites where you can like hire, it's like Fiverr, but not Fiverr. It's like, you know, like I can't remember what it's called, but it's not expert.com, but it's a guru. I think it's guru.com.
I've never heard of that. But
Yeah.
that sounds
Tony,
great.
is there a guru.com? And by the way, they're not a sponsor and I didn't have a good experience. So don't go
Guru.com
there.
definitely sounds like if you want to start an MLM.
Yes,
Where you
it
go
does,
to take
right.
the class and learn.
Yeah. I want to learn about essential oils from guru.com.
Yes.
So you can hire it
Seems to be right.
You can hire a guru.
Whoa.
In like you post what kind of guru you're looking for. So I wanted someone who edits Wikipedia. So I found this woman. She lives in Florida. That was my knock against
Red
her.
flag.
Yes. But she had all kinds of experience, like editing Wikipedia and
Whoa.
doing all sorts of stuff. So anyway,
Okay.
but I noticed pretty quickly that her communication with me, she was using words in a way that suggested
English was not
her first language. Yes. I think
maybe she didn't live in Florida.
maybe, because she said, well, I have news for you, but it's not as shiny as I would hope.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I know. So
I hope to remember that so that I can use that one day.
when you're giving blowjobs.
Yeah. I have news for you. This is not as shiny as you think.
Yeah. So she felt that it was going to be like an uphill battle to try to get this reinstated because she agreed I didn't reach the notability criteria. And then she's like, here's what you need. And it was like, you know, just like a few good articles about me. And I'm like, well, I have that right now. And I sent her, I was on the cover of the OC Weekly for their it was like notable people who deserve Wikipedia pages.
Ooh.
I forget what
That was
it
a
was.
great use of the sound effect.
It was OC Weekly personalities. I forget,
Yeah.
but there was like 4
Doesn't
different.
matter. You were on the cover.
Yeah, 4 different collectible
That's-
covers.
I've never been on the cover of OC Weekly.
You have a Wikipedia page. So anyway,
Not after this episode.
so well, it's just gonna. Some people are gonna add some things. Yeah. So I used to write for the OC Weekly, by the way. Full disclosure. Although, and that was disclosed
You put
in
yourself on the cover.
It was when I was there, and
What
I
a grift.
decided, yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna work my way up.
Yeah. No, I no longer worked there. They came, they interviewed me in the house, they took pictures, blah, blah, blah. So I sent this to her, and then I wish I could remember her exact, yeah. It was like, this would be a good piece of press. However, it is obvious that it's sponsored. Like that I had purchased it.
Oh, wow. That is, I mean,
It was so insulting.
It's
It was
incredible
more
because she was probably not trying to be insulting.
No.
And it was like the most hurtful thing anybody could have ever
Yes,
said.
I have never paid for
Yeah.
what? So it was more insulting than my Wikipedia page getting.
Yeah, you were like,
erased.
wow, I just paid to get my feelings hurt.
Yeah, no, I never paid her actually.
Oh, okay, great.
She was
Love that.
saying, she's like, this was just the preliminary.
intro.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she was saying that like, she's like, I could look, you know, I'm being honest because I could take your money and create a page for you and then it would just get taken down. And I'm not doing that. But anyway, when she said that it was like clear that I had bought this article,
You were like, okay, wow.
I was like, I have never paid. No, I mean, I fucking defended myself against this person and I don't even know where she is. Like, I've never paid for press. If it would help, what fight am I even having at this point?
Yeah.
Like, I can get the editor to vouch for me, but
She
the whole
was like,
thing
she was
was
slowly backing away.
I know. The whole thing was so frustrating.
Oh,
So
man.
anyway, now, yeah, so that's where that stands. But anyway,
Wow.
back
What a-
to you.
What a journey.
It was a journey, and
Yeah.
I've never talked about it on this show because I've been embarrassed that I went that far.
Oh, don't be embarrassed.
Yeah, I don't
think
know why I
like
was embarrassed.
embarrassment is so like fuck embarrassment just in general.
I mean, I would like to.
It holds all
but
of us back.
I have gone back and thought of a lot of upsetting moments in my life just for fun, but also therapy.
Do you do that like around 11:45 midnight? Because that's when I do it. Right before I'm about to fall asleep.
Yeah. No, it's sort of like anytime I have downtime, that's when I like to revisit things that make me feel terrible. And I've realized how much humiliation and embarrassment were like key features of a lot of things that I'm still upset about. Like I do not do well with those emotions. Do you?
Interesting.
Are you impervious to embarrassment?
So like when people ask me like what's your thing, I'm like rejection. Like that's the number one thing I'm an expert in. Like I just feel like my whole life has been a series of rejections, which is weird because I think one would argue that I'm actually pretty successful,
Yeah.
but like that's been paved with just a bunch of rejections and no's. And then also like the podcast is literally about like I've had my ass handed to me so many times. It's insane. And I think
in a dating realm?
oh
Is that
yeah.
what you mean? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I'm trying to think of the worst one. Well, I got ghosted by the guy who got me pregnant. And then I found out a year later that he was fucking my hairdresser the whole time.
Well, I didn't know, and I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Oh my
Nobody
God.
does. I just told it to you for the first time.
Is it? But is there an episode about it?
No.
Oh,
No, I literally just dropped that.
There
my
you got
God.
your dirt.
yeah, I got my dirt. Do you have the podcast boner drop? I think that's from Jeff's time. But one time someone said something that was an exclusive and I yelled podcast boner because that's what I get when people give me exclusive info. So then it turned into a drop.
Oh, okay, cool.
But anyway, yeah,
But anyway,
sorry to
no.
sorry to have a
Yeah.
boner at your tragedy.
So I think like my embarrassment or shame has been like really intertwined with failure or failure in quotes.
Right.
And then I don't know, sometimes you just like bottom out hard enough that you're like, I'm done with this feeling.
Oh yeah.
I'm done with this feeling. And
Right.
now I'm like, I'm just going to like talk about the bad things that have happened to me and then hopefully help other people.
I think that's great. So obviously I'm going to need to circle back and hear a little more details on that story.
I can't believe I
But-
just shared that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Or do I dig into it now? No, let's come back to that.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, I need to get like the background
Yeah.
of, who is Rory Uphold?
Oh boy.
And then I need to ask you about red light masks and NuFace.
Yes.
And estrogen cream for your face and stuff.
Okay,
So
yeah.
those are my
love-
questions coming
Oh,
up.
wow. Okay, amazing.
Okay. So were you born in Canada or here?
California.
California.
Yeah, Los Angeles.
So
Yeah.
where's the Canada part
My
coming from?
mom became an American citizen in 2016 to vote for Hillary. We know how that worked out.
I appreciate her effort.
But she
though.
tried.
Yeah.
Yes. So I became a Canadian citizen in, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And now I have 2 Social Security. I have half my family's in Canada and half my family's in the United States.
What part of Canada?
All over, but mostly Calgary,
Okay.
Texas at the north.
Got it. That is so our nanny, who is not who you met, because
Okay.
she's in Calgary right now.
Oh, wow.
Like she's going to like 3 weddings. I feel like
Oh, interesting.
that's nice that her friends, I don't think they did it on purpose, but like it's
That
a
is
clump,
nice.
a wedding clump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
If they could all just knock them
Get
out
on the
all
same
at once.
page. Yeah, exactly.
I have crazy wedding luck.
Like how?
Like the craziest shit happens to me at weddings all the time.
Crazy good or crazy bad?
Crazy bad, kind of, I think.
Okay.
I once showed up late to a wedding and found out it was BYOC. Have you ever heard of that? No.
Wait, I
'cause
got to
it's
figure out what
not
the C
a
is.
fucking thing.
Bring your own. Don't tell me. Bring your own cash. It just makes no sense. Bring your own corsage. Bring your own credit card. Bring your own BYOC. Bring your own
It's in this room.
camera.
Nope.
Bring your own podcast host. Bring your own
Oh, you're gonna get it.
back. I'm looking at a backpack.
No
Carpet?
Bring
I'm
your
clueless,
own.
too.
Okay, it's in this room.
Uh-huh.
There's fake plants. There's cameras. There's lights. There's tissue. There's water.
Okay, how about this? So I'm like 15 minutes late because it was 2 hours outside of LA. And so the ceremony's happening and it's on like this like ranch farm and I don't know where the actual ceremony is happening.
Cell phone.
So I get freaked out thinking I might walk in and literally walk into the ceremony.
Right.
So my plan was to wait and just join after, which was a very bad idea in retrospect.
Well, you were trying to be respectful, though.
I was trying to be respectful.
Yeah.
So then I join for cocktail hour.
Bring your cocktail. It's not. Wait,
No.
bring your own. It's not. Bring your. There's a bug in here.
There is. It was really trying to eat you.
Was it a mosquito?
Yeah. No. It was like a gnat.
Oh, phew.
So cocktail hour ends, and then what happens?
You eat dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Bring your own dinner.
Close. What do you sit in?
Cake?
Chair.
Oh, chair.
Bring your own chair.
BYOC.
Oh
Bring your own
my
chair.
God! Wait, what? How
So
are people
I
toting
sit-
in chairs?
I sit down and somebody's like, "That's my chair," and I was like, "Oh, sorry, my bad," because everybody was just sitting sort of randomly,
Yeah.
and then I sit in another chair, and the next person's like, "That's my chair," and I was like,
Were all the
What's
chairs different? Were you like, what an
going
eclectic group
on?
of chairs?
"You had to bring your chair from the ceremony."
Oh,
To the reception. So I got fully outed in front of the entire wedding.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Were they mad?
Well, let's put it this way. The priest, when I left the wedding, looked me dead in the eyes and said,
See you in hell.
"Good luck." Which I would argue is worse than see you in hell.
right? Because see you in hell suggests that he's going to also be in hell,
Right. Which
So-
that would be like, wow, what a
Fitting.
weird flex.
right?
But and I
Wow.
said, like just in general? And he said, yes. And I was like, that is so wild and so mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was this a good friend of yours?
No, not like yeah, I mean, gosh, this is very LA. I'm like, what's a good friend?
Yeah. Okay, so that means not.
They're in between a good friend and an acquaintance.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So good enough that you got invited to the wedding, but
Yes. And it was a small wedding.
Oh, how
And
small? I'm bad with
like
numbers.
less than 100 people.
Okay.
I mean, it was very obvious. Like I had to walk across like a football field to drag this chair. It was so embarrassing. Talk about shame.
How
oh my
did
God.
everyone? So it's a lot to unpack here.
So much to unpack. But
How
like
did-
stuff like that to me, like just always happens at weddings.
How did everyone feel about carrying their chair a football field length?
I don't know because I
missed out
I
on
missed out
the
on
grumbling.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also what I'm wondering is like, I'm sorry. My brain is just.
I know. I've really hit you with a lot of things back to back. My bad.
No, it's fine. It's just like, this is not a wedding trend, right? They were just trying to save money on chairs.
I think so. It's never happened to me at any other weddings.
And like, at what point do they, because obviously it wasn't on the invitation.
No.
At what point do they communicate that
at the ceremony? And that's how they knew that I missed their wedding.
I know, but like before they walk down the aisle, after they walk down the aisle.
I wish I could tell
During.
you. I wish I could tell you.
We are gathered here today. Oh, by the way.
PSA.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. So bad luck at weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in LA.
Mm-hmm. Nailed it. No, I'm kidding.
All right. I guess we're done. What did you want to do first? Did you want to act?
Oh God, I don't know what I wanted to do first. But I was like performing from the time I was 5 and just always like loved doing that. But then I went to a performing arts boarding school. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I would go through like a journal a week.
Oh, wow.
I wrote everything down. And then I was also the editor of the yearbook, but I took almost like 90% of all photos for the yearbook. And so people just got really comfortable with me having a camera in their face. And then I videotaped my entire senior year. So I got really into photography and directing, but I was also writing just constantly. So looking back, it all makes a lot of sense. But at the time I had no idea.
Do you consider yourself an overachiever? Or do other people consider you that?
Maybe. I mean, I don't think so. I think I could do so much more. But yeah, I guess probably. Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, I'm just thinking like editing the yearbook, writing that much. Like you were doing
when
a lot
I was
in
younger,
high
I
school.
think I was, when I was younger, I think I was an overachiever. I think I thought that if you work hard, good things come to you. And boy, adulthood has taught me that is really just not the case.
How was boarding school? Because I think you're quite a bit younger than I am, I'm going to guess. But I grew up in love with the show Facts of Life. And they all go to a boarding school. And so I like had all these ideas about how much fun that must be that I don't know if that's
it was crazy. I mean, when I first got there, people hated me because I was like really tan and blonde and blue-eyed. And I looked like the girl that like bullied these kids that all ended up at art school. And so nobody talked to me for like 2 months. And then I dyed my hair purple and I like pierced something. I don't know. And then people were like, okay, she's cool. And then I had friends.
Wow, sometimes it is just that simple.
It's really, really wild.
Did you dye your hair because you're like, this is how I'm going to make friends? Or you were just like, I'm feeling like I need purple hair?
I think it was probably both. Like I spent so much time by myself. Like really, I had no friends and I was away from my family. And I remember being really, really sad and being like, whoa, this is what it feels like to just like be like totally alone, like off by yourself.
Right.
And then, and I was 14 or 13 or 14. So I was really young. Yeah. It was hard. And then, I slowly started to make friends. And then by the end of it, it was awesome. I mean, the school is wild. Like we had something happening every day. So like an art exhibit, a dance show, just impromptu dance parties, crazy like art stuff everywhere. It was in the middle of the woods. People would literally sing in the cafeteria. The entire cafeteria would break into song. Kind of there's this real life shit.
Sounds kind of idyllic.
Yeah, so it was pretty idyllic. Yeah.
And was it co-ed?
It was co-ed, although being in art school didn't really feel co-ed.
Does that mean most of them?
There's
boys,
a lot of like
gay boys.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which is weird because like I came out of high school and like I didn't understand that like trans and all this stuff wasn't totally normal because it was my normal for so long.
Right.
It's just a weird culture shock.
Yeah. Was that disappointing then to get into the real world and realize that you had been in this like extremely progressive environment that isn't reflected?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And feels like it's going backwards actually.
Yeah, and sometimes I have to catch myself and just realize like something might feel like I've seen this or it's so everywhere for me, but it might be more new for other people. Not to like, this isn't the woke Olympics, but sometimes I get frustrated because I'm like, this is so annoying. Like, I just feel like we're constantly talking about the same issues that experienced easily as a child.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it was not weird to see guys or girls kissing or holding hands or showing affection at my school.
Mm-hmm.
It was like pretty normal. You saw it everywhere. So the fact that we're still fighting for those rights and liberties just feels kind of insane to me.
At my son's public school, there was this whole controversy that I only know about a little bit because my husband has joined the I don't know if he's actually officially joined or he just logged into the Zoom of the DEI, so diversity, equality, and inclusion. Is that what DEI stands for? Tony, can you look that up?
That sounds
I feel like that's right. Yeah. And so apparently last year there was like a big pushback against the Trans Day of Visibility, which is just like, ugh.
That's the hill you're going to die on?
Right. I know.
It's just so weird. Like, I don't know. I also talk about sex and dating and all of this stuff pretty openly, but I just think it's really creepy that somebody spends their time worried about what other people are doing with their body or with their romantic life. Like, that's just, it's freaky in the not cool way. It's freaky in the not kinky way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like into freaky, but not that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Get a life.
It's disappointing. Okay, so you graduate from the art high school, arts high school, performing arts high school.
True.
And then what do you do?
I go to a college in Los Angeles, and then I drop out after 2 years because I get a record deal. I go to an open call. I don't realize that's what's going to happen. I get a record deal. I, drop out of college. I start learning how to make music. And that was a whole journey that, please don't go looking for music. I've wiped it off the internet.
You're not proud of it?
It's not that I'm not proud of it. I thought I was going to put out a country album. And then I stopped and thought about it. And I was like, this wasn't actually what I wanted to do. Like, I always wanted to make movies, and I always wanted to be like doing film or TV or something like that. And so I thought about, if you're going to have to fight really hard to do anything in the arts, what is it that you want to do? And so then I pivoted.
That's smart to have that realization at, sounds like a pretty young age.
I think it was like 22, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like it takes a lot of self-possession to have that realization, because I feel like the bug is around me again.
Truly, it's not even coming for me. It's coming just for you.
No, I know. This is it's kind of an ongoing trend. I just
I've heard.
And I know. Bugs love me. What can I say? You got to take it where you can get it, you know.
I do know. Yes.
I think what I was going to say was, I think I spent years with people being like, "Can you do this?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll try that," you know, and really getting away from like the things that I think I'm best at or that I want to do. And I feel like that can like take you down a lot of detours and waste time and make you feel bad if these are things you're not good at. So, okay. But so what did you perform at this audition though that got you the record deal?
Ooh, Anna Nalix, that's one of her songs. Oh God. I had to do a bunch of songs, but like that was the cover that I remember. Just Breathe.
And were you playing guitar? Were you just singing?
I was just singing.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
with
crazy.
music though, or a cappella, or?
I think they provided the music. I think somebody was like playing the music there, and then they had me sing live, and then they had me go in the studio and record a bunch of songs. And then they were like, "Yeah, okay, you got the deal." And I was like, "What?
Who was it with?
What do you mean?
Or do you not
disclose? It was with an indie record label that I don't even think exists anymore. And then I went on to do like some cool things. Like
So wait, did you make the album though? Make an album with them or no?
I didn't end up making an album with them. I ended up fighting my way out of that deal. Then I got a manager, and then I had some corporate sponsors and toured all over California and joined up with,
in malls.
Kind of high schools and middle schools across California, and then did in stores at Cold Stone Creamery.
Oh, that's so cool.
Cold Stone.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
Nope.
No. How was that?
It was crazy. It's just, I
high
look
schools and middle
I look
schools.
back on that time in my life, and I'm like, that is weird. Yeah. It's also not really my personality.
Do you watch the other two?
I've seen it.
It feels a little bit like Chase Dreams.
Yeah. Not no. Yeah.
So, okay. So, but high schools and middle schools, were you being positioned as a kids performer?
No, so I would come in with like Kiss FM or the local radio stations, and then they would have people perform like at a break and then give out awards, and they would be ice cream for honor students.
No, nothing like this ever happened at my school. We had
Nothing
hot
like this
dog
ever.
day.
Yeah, I mean, this didn't happen at my school either. We didn't even have sports. I mean, I guess we were all artists, but
Right.
I mean, what I will say is that my time in music taught me that, like, I know how to edit because of writing music. I know how to write. There's so many things about music that apply to comedy and to
Right.
film and to all these other things. And so, weirdly, I did learn a lot.
Okay, so you're performing but just because I will forget. What is it? Diversity, equality, and inclusion?
Oh, is that what you? I was making a note when you asked me. What
I
was
was
supposed to look up? I'm sorry.
What
DEI.
does DEI stand for?
DEI. Sorry, the other problem is the internet.
Oh, yeah.
is very slow out here for me.
Yes.
So ask me again in an hour.
Okay.
Yes, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Oh. I was pretty close.
I also
That goes-
kind of think the internet might be wrong. I feel
think
like
it should be
for school,
equality.
it should be equality.
Equity. Well, I mean, I feel like they kind of mean the same thing here. Although equity also means like how much equity in your house do you have? And I never quite understand exactly what that means.
Yeah.
I think that probably means how much of your mortgage have you paid off?
That's what I would
Like
guess.
how much of your house do you own?
I'm not great at that either.
Yeah, I think we own like the door, and we're making
Okay,
moves.
so I won't touch that.
Yeah, we're making moves to own some of the carpet.
windows?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
nice.
window, maybe a window sash. I don't even know.
Sick.
Okay, all right. So you're performing at Cold Stone, you're doing contests and things. Were you performing country music, or just that was
No,
like
I was
what you were
performing
into?
pop music.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did
But
like
country
top
was
40.
what you like thought you wanted to do.
Oh man, we were really getting into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Then I found out that my manager was stealing money from me.
Oh,
And so I left him, and then I didn't really know what I was going to do. And at that time, music was starting to be like really toxic. I was having a lot of like adults tell me I was like too fat, and like there's just a lot of stuff that became really hard for me.
yeah.
And it wasn't really about the music. And so then I thought, well, what feels more like me? Like pop music didn't really feel like me. It was just sort of what I was pushed into.
Right. By your money stealing manager and the ice cream people.
I kind of by everybody. And then I was like, yeah, sure. Like I like pop music. Like why not?
Right.
But then trying to dance and sing at the same time, like people do not give Beyonce enough credit.
Yeah.
And I know that she gets a lot of credit, but like, damn, that shit is hard. And so it was less country, more like blues, Americana. Which is
Okay.
what I kind of grew up loving and listening to.
Right.
But then when I really sat down, I was like, no, this just is, I think this chapter's done.
Did you wear a headset mic while you danced and sang?
No, I held a mic.
Really?
Yeah.
That's even harder, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're telling us we can't go find this.
No.
But you wrote songs for movies. That's cool.
Yeah, I did. So there are things like I'm sure that you could find. And then I wrote songs with other people, and those are out there. It's just so weird. It's like this feels like this was another lifetime ago.
Yeah. Well, there's new incarnations of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let us move on in just 1 second. Do you still do music like on your own?
No.
So it's just done. It's over. That girl is dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not maybe forever. Like if I found myself in a situation where somebody wanted to make music and the goal wasn't to try and necessarily monetize it, I would be down.
What color hair did you have when you were performing in Cold Stone?
Oh, so blonde. Okay. And bangs like this and like so many hair extensions. I can show you a photo.
I would love to see that. There's
wild.
a lot that needs to happen when this is over. I need to find out stories that were killed, etc. Okay. All right. So then what?
Then I made my first short film. I got my heart broken. The man I thought I was going to marry called me on the phone and dumped me in April. And we had tickets to go to Africa in December. I love that I'm like dropping that as if I really expected the sound effect.
Oh yeah. No, do it again. We'll give you something. Okay.
I got my heart broken by the guy that I thought I was going to marry, and I thought that we were going to get married because we had tickets to, well, we had talked about getting married. So
Yeah,
like
that's your first
that's
clue.
my first clue is that. And then he broke up with me in April, but we had tickets to go to Africa with each other in December. Thank you.
How long had you gone out with him?
2.5 years or 3 years, but we had known each other. He was a senior when I was a freshman. Anyway, the TLDR on that is he celebrated his 1 year anniversary 364 days later.
Oh, so he had met the other
he was-
one at the end of.
Yeah. He was cheating on me,
What a dick.
which is just hurtful because
Yeah.
he like, made my entire family come to his mom's 60th birthday 2 weeks prior to that. Like it was just a crazy thing. And then to
Yeah.
break up with me on the phone. Anyway, my 90-year-old grandmother was sitting next to me and I was like, I can't have the reaction I want to have because I'm afraid I'll kill her. And so then
What was the reaction going to be?
just like the ugliest cry.
Yeah.
Like just, I got into the car and called my best friend. And when I say that, like, I'm not sure whether I was wet with tears or snot, like it was just
Right.
all like just a waterfall of.
Did you feel blind? You must have felt blindsided by it.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Tony, what's wrong with you men?
I wish I knew, honestly. I'm not or no.
You are apologizing? You're not a representative? What do you
Yes,
what do you-
I'm not, I don't want to, I'm not speaking on
For all
behalf
men?
of men. Yes.
Okay.
That's smart. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't speak for all women either.
Did
That's
he
risky.
just, I think he just said not all men.
Yeah, not all men. Hashtag not all men.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow.
You wanted some dirt.
It is getting risky in here.
It really is. We're very problematic.
Edgy.
Yeah.
I'm ultimately grateful. Look, that man changed my life for the better. I made my first short film about it. I asked this guy, Ben York Jones, who is an incredible writer. He wrote this movie called Like Crazy that I loved. He was in my short film. It did well. It gave me the confidence to make more stuff. I made a web series called LA about LA.
Yes,
it went viral. It was like on the front page of Reddit. I ended up getting reps. It's how I sold my first TV show on a like a whim, like in a pitch in a room. And it really like set my career off. And maybe it was 8 years later, I sold a show to my favorite network and I texted him and I just said, thank you. Like, you were right. Like, well, this wasn't meant to be. And honestly, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here. I'd be Mrs. So-and-so.
Right. It's a weird last name.
Yeah, it's a really weird name. But you know what I
Very
mean?
generic.
Like, so generic. And honestly, he's so generic. And looking back, I'm like, it's so great that you didn't do that. We would have outgrown each other.
Yeah.
And I would have stayed small and I would have never done the things like that. Heartbreak forced me into the new iteration of who I was meant to be. And I really like, it sucks. What he did was shitty and not cool, but I'm so grateful. And if I had a chance to do it all over again, I would absolutely have that happen.
And how old were you at the time?
I think like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who do meet who like settle on someone. Settle is the wrong word. There are people who get married at 25 and it works out for them. But I know that I was not even near ready at that age.
Yeah.
So,
And what was weird is, so the car ride down to the 60th birthday party that he like made my entire family go to, and I'm meeting like second cousins and his great aunt, like people that we would have seen at our wedding. Like it would have been like, oh yeah, the 60th birthday party and our wedding. Like those were 2 times I met these people. On that car ride down, I was talking to my dad and I was like, yeah, it's just so weird. You know, like I never saw myself getting married young. Like it was just not something that felt intuitive to me. But like, I can't imagine being with anybody else. Like I love this person and this is absolutely what I want to do.
what did your dad think?
My dad thinks he's a dick.
But at the time,
Oh, my dad was really hurt. My dad felt like he took this person in and that he was
Yeah.
like a son to my dad. My dad has 2 daughters and my dad didn't have a dad. So he really took this guy under his wing and they had a really great relationship and it was really hard for my dad.
Yeah.
And that sucked for me
right?
because I don't know. My dad's like, well, my dad never yelled the entire time. Like he's an ER doc. And
Oh, wow.
so he's used to absolute insanity and chaos. And he had pretty hardcore upbringing. So I saw my dad cry once. And it was when my grandmother died. And then my
The
dad,
one that you didn't want to kill with your reaction.
the other one,
Okay.
cancer killed her, which sucks. But I don't really want to kill either of my grandmothers. Let the record show.
You say that now.
Let the
but-
record show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's hard to watch one of the stoic parents, or if like you have a strong parent, it's really hard to watch them struggle with something.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's related to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I was
Absolutely.
like, how dare you make my dad feel sad?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you. And then I never got him,
It's like he took all the Upholds for a ride.
He really did. He really did.
You sold 2 TV shows or more than 2?
Yeah, I've sold
That's
more, yeah.
amazing. You've sold a number of TV shows.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Thanks.
What
None of them got made, so
but still, you sold them. Then you got paid for them, presumably.
yes, of course, yeah.
Were you going to be in these shows?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
then did you make pilots?
I didn't make pilots. Yeah, I guess they all died in development. Wow. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, but no. From where I sit, I'm just curious about that process. But from where I sit, even selling a show is amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's it's a labor of love, and also every time I start to write something new, I'm like, why the fuck do I do this?
How do you mean?
It's just like, why would anybody choose this career? This is just insane. It's so hard to write and
Yeah.
like to take something out of thin air and then like make a world and a universe. I'm like,
Where
you
did
should have just been a lawyer.
Where did you learn how to do that?
Writing songs.
Wait, you learned how to write scripts, writing songs?
It's the same thing. If you can write a song, you can write a script. I'm like, okay, so a song is what? It's a 2 to 3 minute thing that has several pieces that you put together,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to convey a story and an emotion and all of these things. Well, isn't a pilot the same thing? It's just a little bit longer.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody that's really good at writing is going to listen to this and be like, what a dumb bitch.
No. So let's talk about Crimes of the Heart, your
The
podcast,
podcast.
which is very well done.
Thank you.
It is like, this is just people blabbing into a mic, very little editing, but your podcast is produced.
Yeah, I know. I really
It's got structure.
really shot myself in the foot with that one because I do it all.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow. So my husband and I are rewatching Sex and the City from the beginning.
Fun.
Yes. I've got thoughts about that. But so I don't know if this is going to feel like a compliment or not a compliment, but in listening to the episode with Akilah Hughes, I was like, oh, this is like a little Sex and the City-ish.
I take that as a compliment.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. And that's not, so I had never watched it because again, went to boarding school, didn't have TV, also is a little above my time. And I've now watched Sex and the City. Like I've really gone back, and I think that a lot of it is like so clever. And I love the way that the beginning always ties into the end. And, I'm sure there are problematic episodes. I'm not talking about those. Womp, womp, womp. But,
I guess it is the woke Olympics.
yes. Please, I expect my medal at the end of this. I just love the idea of, to me, all of these hurts in relationships. Like, I don't understand. I've said this before, but like, I don't understand how, if I were to hit you with my car, okay, fine, I'd not hit you like your car. I hit your car with my car.
Oh, I wanted you to run him over.
Okay, I run you over.
Thank you.
There's consequences.
No hard feelings, right?
Yeah, no hard
of
feelings.
course, yes.
This
Yes,
is
there
because not all men. So I hit you with my car, right? And then there's consequences. But if we date for 5 years and you cheat on me and gaslight me or whatever, you get to walk away scot-free. I don't get that. There's just there's no accountability. There's no recourse. There's no nothing for the way that we treat people. And as somebody that has lived through just a ton of quote unquote love crimes, I was inspired to.
Oh, hence the title.
Yeah, Crimes of the Heart. Yeah, it's not from the play. That's just an unfortunate coincidence.
They stole it from you. I mean, if you believe in the
time traveling.
Yeah, no. What's specifically though? It's like the multiverse theory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. This podcast.
Sometimes I talk about quantum physics. It's just a thing.
It's just really hard being a genius. No big deal. Yeah. So that really kind of inspired it, and then I love true crime. I'm like, what? Well, I don't know. Like, you probably haven't been texting with anybody recently where you felt like those little bubbles pop up and there's like the tension of like, oh my God, what are they going to say? And then the bubbles go away and you're like, oh, that was even worse. Like, oh my God, they're not even going to write. Like this feels like death. And I'm like, but I didn't feel like there was anything that captured that feeling. So I just wanted to create it.
Where do you get the story? So does every episode start with a story? Like someone else's dating story, and then you and a guest talk about it?
That's the format of one episode, and then the next week's episode will be just kind of just an interview with an expert.
I see. Okay.
So like I've had like cybersecurity experts to teach people how to be safer when online dating, or sex therapists, people like that. But then yes, the other format is someone's anonymous, or if they choose to not be anonymous, reenacted story of a crime, whether they committed it or whether it happened to them, and then I kind of debrief with my guest.
And
you'll have to come on if you have
I
any
would
interest.
love to.
Yeah,
I would love to.
that.
I've experienced my own crimes for sure. Where do the so in the episodes where you do have the sort of anonymous or not anonymous person talking about the crime of the heart that they experienced, how do those come to you?
I meet people, they write in, I meet somebody who goes, oh my gosh, you gotta hear this from my friend. This person has this crazy story. And then I hit them up, and if they want to be anonymous, I can absolutely ensure. And there are a couple, I have only done this once, but I can interview you, I can make it, and I can dub your voice out. Like if this is something that is a girl got a butt plug lost up inside of her, which was one of her crimes. Like that was and she was like, I just can't even, I'm too embarrassed to even do this in my own voice. And I said, gotcha, girl. We'll dub you out. Silence.
I mean, I'm just thinking about this because like they always say, with a tampon, it can't go too far because
there's like a little, that is not, that is not the case.
Right. But with the butt, like ultimately you end at the mouth like that. It's just a straight, I mean, it's not a straight shot. It's a very windy shot.
Very circuitous.
So what happened? Did she go to the
She got it
room?
out. She got it
herself.
out. Yeah. But it was not easy. She basically had to fist herself.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Was she freaking out?
The most freaking out.
I mean, couldn't you just, I say, as if like she shouldn't be freaking out or something. I imagine she just tried like just bearing down.
She tried all the things.
Yeah.
And this person is somewhat recognizable.
Oh my God. This is so exciting.
Yeah. So
she couldn't go,
she was like
get Richard
paranoid
Gere.
about going to the ER because she's like, I have nurse friends. They all talk about this. Like people will talk about this.
Right. She'll be like one of those things you see where it's like, how did that person get a light bulb in their colon?
Exactly.
Yeah. So she got it out though.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
I am a little speechless.
Yeah. That's like not even the worst one, but that's just one that I think is I don't know. That doesn't really that to me is not that embarrassing. I'm not really into butt stuff, but I'm not embarrassed about talking about sex.
Right.
So that wouldn't embarrass me, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tony, would you be embarrassed if you got a butt plug stuck up your butt?
Live a little. I'll try anything once.
Or twice, right?
Yeah.
You got to make sure.
Yeah.
Try once. I don't know if I'm into it.
Yeah.
Try it a second time just to make sure.
Try it once and there's no way that's going to happen again.
Isn't there usually like a stopper?
Not all. And this one was very
Not
small.
all butt plugs? Hashtag?
Yeah. Hashtag not all men, not all butt plugs.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was
So
the
it
problem.
seems like a design flaw.
It was a design flaw. Yes.
Okay.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
I mean, I just, the physics of it, it's bothering me.
We have a professional interviewer here. Yeah, no, I know. I was like, ooh.
Yeah. So just to go back to what you said about how if you ran over Tony with a car, and this is just theoretical.
Just theoretical.
Okay, just hypothetical. There would be consequences.
Yeah.
But if you, run into someone's heart, there's not. But do you feel like there should be what do you feel like?
I mean, no, that would be, we can't even decide on
punishment for actual crimes. Yeah.
I'm like, no. So no, we'll take a back seat on that. But I do think that I want to create a place for catharsis and for people to be able to unburden themselves of this really terrible thing happened to me and it made me feel bad, or I'm carrying around this shame, or I feel like this thing happened to me and therefore it makes me feel like I'm less than or broken or whatever. And then to have somebody else come on and be like, oh yeah, that's happened to me like 4 times. And then that person doesn't feel so bad. And then the people listening go, oh yeah, I thought my love life sucked. And then I realized like, actually, this is pretty common. Like everybody is dealing with some sort of struggles. And it's not just single people. Like I have people in relationships too, because I think that single life is its own hell, but relationships are their own hell. You know, being married is its own hell. Being married with kids is its own hell. Like it just always shifts. And I think that's why I was saying like, I hate embarrassment. I hate shame. Like that is like the thing that I feel like I'm actively trying to fight against. Because what happens with shame? Like it just gets pushed further and further and further down. And it's kind of like a cancer inside of us. Right. Not to be hyperbolic, but that is sort of my personality.
No, I think I agree actually. Yeah. Now I need to hear about the guy that was sleeping with your hairdresser and impregnated you.
Oh, right. Yes. Man. So talk about shame. That's pretty shameful for me. Yeah. Okay. It's pretty shameful. And that's also why I'm like, I'm going to talk about it because it made me feel really bad. It's really embarrassing. Sometimes when I still think about it, I'm like, whew, yeah, that like actually does trigger me a little bit. I was dating this guy, and he had ghosted me once before. And I think that's probably where the shame comes in, is that I should have known better. And I got back together with him. And I look back on the person that did that, and I'm gonna say it's pathetic, but I don't mean it so aggressively. Like I say that with love to that version of myself. Yeah. Because I don't think that it's pathetic to want to be loved. I don't think it's pathetic to want to find a relationship or start building a life with someone. I think that's actually like really special and great. And it's really brave to continue to try for that, especially in the world that we live in. I'm just so sad for myself that I didn't have stronger boundaries and more self-love to go like, no, dude. This is just, I just deserve to be treated better. And this is really unattractive. And if that would have happened today, that's exactly my response. I would just be like, oh, this is very unattractive to me. And I mean that genuinely. And like, this is so easy for me to walk away from. But at the time, it wasn't. And this guy had a lot of things on paper that made me like him. And then we got along in person and our sex was great. So it seemed like it was worth fighting for. I have tracked my period every day for about 7 years, and I fucked up once. Once. There's a one time I had sex without looking at my period tracking app, and I got pregnant. And obviously I didn't know that immediately, although a very fun fact, not fun for me, but maybe fun for people listening. 2 days later, I looked in the mirror and I did not recognize myself.
That's very fast.
Fast. I was experiencing like the most insane body dysmorphia. The best way I can describe it is I looked in the mirror and it was as if you've ever done mushrooms,
which just became legal in California, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they decriminalized them in California, but I don't know exactly what it means. The way I know is because I got it like a news alert on my phone. And Daniel got it at the same time.
I got a news alert on my phone.
So I don't know exactly what if that means they'll be sold now at weed stores,
or if you just can't get in trouble for having them.
Right? Yeah.
Wow, sick. Okay, that's great. Yeah. Not that I'm like doing them all the time, but it reminded me of looking in the mirror when you're like on mushrooms, like how I looked like grotesque, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. And it just didn't go away. Turns out that was me being pregnant. But that is just an aside. Anyway, I had plans with this guy. He didn't show up. And then he didn't respond to...
But not 2 days after.
No.
Then.
This is like a couple weeks later.
Got it.
We were supposed to get together. I hit him up. And he hits me back and was like, oh, sorry, like I'm just not going to make it. And then I sent him another text and I literally just never heard from him again. And then I found out I was pregnant and I was like, well, at some point he's going to respond to my text, and he just never did.
So he never knew that you got pregnant?
Nope. I mean, he knows now. Yeah.
But wait, how does he know now?
Oh, because when Roe v. Wade went through, I was like, well, our kid would be 7 days old, so you should maybe make a donation to Planned Parenthood.
That's how you've let him know?
Mm-hmm.
What was his reaction?
Gee.
Seems like a great guy.
Yeah.
So how did you find out he was sleeping with your hairdresser?
So my superpower is I always find out the truth. It's a pretty shitty superpower.
Wait, is that like, but when you mean superpower, I always find out the truth, like because you're really good at internet searching, which by the way, I'm remembering I saw a clip where you're like, women should be detectives.
Oh yeah.
And I totally agree with you about that. But you always find out the truth because eventually it comes to you or because you
eventually
seek it
it comes
out?
to me.
More than you seeking it out.
Both. But
Okay.
like, there's no way I could have, what's seeked?
Sought
this out. Wow. Okay. No, that's cool. Keep that in. Definitely keep that in. Oh, okay, Roar. Yeah, there's no way I could have sought that out. And it's happened on numerous occasions. And I could give you like a million examples and well, if you want me to, but
I demand 1 million examples.
1 million
Tony,
examples.
do you have anywhere you have to be this week? We're going to be here for 1 million examples.
I like.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a great example of like how random it is. My friend, I need a new hairstylist, and my friend says, "Oh, you should use my girl." So I go to her and I get my hair done once. The second time I'm back, she has like been listening to my podcast, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I have so many stories. Like, why don't I just tell you some of my dating stories, and then you tell me if you want to use any of them for your show." So she's like talking to me.
Do you like when, did you enjoy that was happening, or were you like, please just cut my hair?
No, I love it.
Okay.
There are a few things that I can talk forever about. Love, relationships, sex, dating.
Skincare.
I could do that forever. Skincare and weird mystery illnesses. Those are like, and then probably cybersecurity. Those are like the things that I can go forever on. Just let's do this all day.
Yeah.
So by the way, if anybody wants to talk about it, hit me in my DMs. But so she's telling me these stories, and she's talking about this one guy that she had dated who, when they were dating, had basically sent a photo of another girl. Like it was a live photo.
Oh, and like she watched the live part.
And she watched the live part, and
there.
it was her. Yeah. And spoiler alert, it was me.
But she didn't realize
But she didn't realize this.
Amazing.
And then
What kind of photo of him was it?
she was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, I'm doing a pizza night." And he was like lying and saying he was doing it with his kid, and it was like with me.
Okay, so it wasn't like a dick pic though or anything.
No, it was like a photo of, I think, the pizza,
Pizza or
and I
something,
walked
yeah.
through the frame, and he was a dum-dum and sent a
Yeah.
live photo. I don't even remember this photo, but she was like, she asked me about it. I was like, yeah. And she starts describing this guy, and I just offhandedly go, "It's not Jeff, is it? That's not his name." And the whole salon goes silent. Like I see necks about to snap. Like the hairstylist from across the room goes, "What did she just say?" And my hairstylist freezes and goes, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "It's not Jeff White, is it?" Again, not his real name.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Holy shit. Yes." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, that's the dude who got me pregnant." And she was like, "Oh my God." And then the lady from across the room goes, "Is that the pizza girl?" and like
Oh
the
my
salon
God.
is like erupting. And then
Yeah.
she's like, nobody talk. I've got to get these foils out of her hair. I can't ruin her hair." And we finish it, and then she's like shell shocked. She like
Yeah.
doesn't know what. And I'm like, unfortunately, this is not the first time this has happened to me. So I'm like, I'm okay with this. Like we can figure this out.
Right.
And she basically was like, "Dude, you're the reason why I got into therapy. That
You.
photo like really fucked with me and made me feel really bad about myself. And I made up all of these like stories about who this girl must be and like how she must be so much better than me. And because of that, I got into therapy. And because of that, I realized like, I need to address like the issues I have in terms of like competition with other women, aka the patriarchy. And
The Tony.
so I'm hitting you with my car. And then B, like all the work that she did made her like, she really built up her self-confidence. And so when he inevitably circled back, and the reason why I didn't hear from him, the week that he ghosted me was he was trying to get back with her.
Wow. So wait, how long? So this is like, it's like kismet that you guys were brought
but that's what
together.
I mean by like my superpower is I always find out the truth.
Yeah.
There's no world in which, and she still does my hair and I adore her. And and I think it makes a lot of sense in my story that like,
Right.
I just am so glad that I got to be even like the smallest fraction of her healing journey.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm not taking credit for in any way. Like that was all her and her therapist and all the work that she did. But I'm like, that's crazy because like this story was also, I don't know, it just felt really shitty to be ghosted by a guy that I ultimately like got pregnant and then had to deal with this. And yeah, it was just embarrassing and made me feel really bad about myself. Yeah.
I totally get that. Like, I think I would feel similarly, but at the same time, I don't think there is cause to feel shame in that story. Is it that you misjudged him? Is it that you misjudged your period tracking? Like, is the shame coming from the fact that you got pregnant?
Oh, I think I think the shame is like 360 on so many fronts. I think it is like that I got pregnant. I think I don't want to have to deal with people being like coming at me for that.
For not keeping it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with that at all? You haven't talked about it.
Yeah, I've never talked about it. So
So we'll see.
we'll see. Although the reality is like that was the easiest decision for me to make.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got an abortion. I used the pills.
What was that experience like?
Okay, I'm going to be really honest with you. And part of the reason why I don't talk publicly about it is that my experience was very bad.
Okay.
Like I genuinely thought I was going to die. Like I was in the most pain. I threw up. I blacked out. I came to. Yeah, it was not a chill experience for me. It was so traumatic. So
Did you have someone with you?
No, I did
geez.
not realize that it was going to be
Yeah,
as
no, it doesn't.
hardcore as it was.
No, they make it sound like
It's easy breezy.
Yeah. Was it? So I have taken misoprostol in advance of
Procedures or something like that.
a hysteroscopy.
Okay.
And in fact, there's an episode of my podcast from many years ago, and it's like a Thursday show, and it's like Allison's vagina pill, because it was like you just put it up there. But the cramps from it were so painful.
Yeah.
Was that one of the things you took, or was it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's very
And
uncomfortable.
I was basically passing something that was the size of a poppy seed. Like I had to actually wait a day because they don't recommend I caught it. I knew so early that I actually had to wait in order to be quote unquote safe to take it or whatever.
Got it.
So I was told that maybe that's why it hurt so badly.
Because it was so early? Interesting.
Because it's like my uterus was trying to push something that was like so small.
Right.
So,
there wasn't really anything to push.
Yeah. So it could have been that. I mean, I don't know. I'm incredibly grateful. I would absolutely do it again in a heartbeat. And I also am like, I can talk about being embarrassed and feeling shame about it, but I also feel really proud that I'm able to talk about it and not feel shame about it. I don't know. It's
complicated.
I didn't know that I was going to share this, or I might have better language. I might have thought this out.
I feel like your language is fine.
Okay.
I feel like your language is fine.
Oh no.
Oh, is the bug coming for you now?
Yeah.
Taking the pill versus having like a DNC, is it now in states where you are allowed to do this? Is it generally an abortion pill that they give you? I know this is not your area of expertise, but I'm just curious how they determine when to use that versus like when to use a DNC.
So I don't know, actually. I think that I have no idea.
Okay.
I mean, for me personally, I just wanted to address it as soon as possible. Like when I realized I was pregnant, I also realized, oh, that's like the crazy body dysmorphia. I was also pretty sick. Like I had it affected me immediately and pretty strongly. So, and then I felt invaded. And I was like,
the guy had hurt you.
yeah. And I also was just like, oh no, I didn't didn't consent to this. Not to this. And you know, what a ding dong. Like it's like the one time. I think like that's probably what I'm the most embarrassed about. Is it for 7 years?
Right.
You know, I've like lived with boyfriends and this was never an issue. And then the one guy I fuck up with happens to be this guy that did not treat me well.
Right.
And I allowed it. Ugh. Girl.
How long ago was this?
I think 2021.
Okay. Have you thought about doing an episode on it?
I have done an episode with my hairdresser. I just haven't released it yet.
But is it because it's just like in the queue?
It's just in the queue. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might release it in October. I mean, now that I'm talking about it, I guess I should probably
It's
really
pretty
think about
good.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good story, I think.
Yeah. I guess like I said, I did not know that we were going to be talking about this, so I really did not think this through. I guess my whole thing in sharing it is like, yeah, I am very pro-choice. I did get an abortion. I'm so grateful. So grateful. Like I could cry that I was able to do that.
Yeah.
It was not a pleasant experience. I don't know how anyone in their right mind thinks that this is like a birth control alternative.
Right.
Like I'm like, I was laid out for weeks. So no. Yeah.
Right. Wow. Thank you for sharing this story. Let's take a quick break and then let's come back and
Maybe lighter stuff like
yes, just me or everyone. Hey, go fuck yourself. And then also my important skincare questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, it's Todd Perry, co-host of Allison and Todd After Hours on Patreon. And I'm biased, but the show's up there with my favorite Allison Rosen podcast. Top 3 at least. Why? Because of the fun topics. We've already discussed getting caught having sex, perverted teppanyaki chefs, filming yourself, Gen Z slang, slay, why Allison needs Ben Gay, astrology, the Adam Carolla show, pit pastors, a fight we had with a prominent politician, backhanded compliments, death, and why German men sit when they pee.
Like, well, I can't stand in pee. So he thought it was like sort of showing off, as if I'd be like, bite my fist. Like, man, I wish I could do that.
Start now and get 2 shows a month for just $2 at patreon.com/Allison and Todd. Not sure if you're ready to subscribe? Check out hours of free previews at patreon.com/Allison and Todd. Allison with 1 L, Todd with 1 D.
All right. Let's do
We're
Just
back.
Me. We're back. Let's do Just Me or Everyone. And there's a song.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right. I understand. Oh, did you hear that?
Yeah, it's the end of the song. It's literally in the track.
It is?
Yeah.
How have I never noticed it?
I don't know. I notice it every time.
Maybe because it's a little bit louder right now. That's crazy.
I definitely thought it was my phone. I was like,
Yeah, me too.
damn, it's on the ground.
I understand you have it Just Me or Everyone. Let's hear it.
Okay. Just me or everyone. Anytime there are like cutting scenes in a movie or somebody is driving in their car, I get panic stricken because I'm like, they're gonna cut their finger
Yes.
or they're gonna get hit.
Yes. Yes. I don't always feel it with a driving scene. There's a certain kind of, I don't know if it's an angle, I don't know what it is that makes me go like, oh God.
They're gonna get
But-
T-boned.
Yeah, but a cutting scene. Yeah, I was just watching something the other day, and I was like, I know someone's about to harm themselves accidentally. I can't remember if they did or not.
I will say like 7 out of 10 times they don't.
Yeah,
But why? Do not put that in your movie unless you're actually going to harm them.
right. Yeah, it's like Chekhov's gun.
It's yes. It totally. And I think part of the driving thing is that I've been T-boned in an intersection. So
And
maybe
yet,
that's
yet you so cavalierly are going to hit Tony.
yes.
Were you okay?
I totaled my car, but I do like get weird going through intersections, which is
Yeah.
crazy because there's a lot of them in LA.
Right. You didn't get hurt though, like physically?
No. Mm-mm. I had to think
Good.
about that. Yeah.
That sounds like a horrible thing to experience though.
So I think about this a lot. And I think about the fact that like that experience didn't harm me, but really kind of left a mark on my psyche. And so now anytime I'm going through intersections, I feel like I'm constantly like actually checking, and like especially to my left, which is how I got hit. And yet emotionally, I don't do that.
That's interesting.
It's weird that I'm like, I got in this car accident so long ago. It's still with me. And yet I've been cheated on, or I've been dumped, or I've had friend breakups, or, you know, just all of these personal relationship things. And yet we don't kind of, I don't know, there's no way to deal with that or handle that, or I'm not like looking over my shoulder for that.
Do you think that I mean, I guess the question is there a way to do that emotionally? Would there be a way to be looking over your shoulder emotionally that wouldn't leave you like paranoid and closed off?
Well, isn't that kind of the whole theory behind attachment styles and like moving into anxious attachment or some of those behavioral patterns? I think so.
Right. I mean, I think that I made terrible decisions in relationships, and yet I was constantly on the lookout for like, is there a rejection coming? Does this person still like the second I started dating someone, it was like, now I have a thing I have to manage. And what that looked like was, you know, being the person who's like, okay, so then he said this, and then I said this, and then he said this. What do you think that means? I mean, like so exhausting for me.
The bug. The bug. You should just eat it. Next time
it's not even up to me.
I
That's
know,
the thing. If it goes in my mouth, I guess I will. Oh my God.
It is really, for people that are not watching and that are just listening, this is a tiny gnat that seems to circle her head. It came near me because it's obviously not pro-choice when I was talking about abortion.
Yeah.
However, it has really just stuck to you. It's so wild.
What am I giving off?
I don't know.
What a gnat. Oh, gnats
Irresistible?
like, I mean, but gnats like rotting fruit.
Oh.
Oh, wait, no. It's not is it a gnat is different than a fruit fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just go with irresistible.
Yeah, I should have stuck with that.
Just go with that.
But if it turns out that I smell like rotting fruit, someone let me know.
No, you don't.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you very much.
That's wild. Wait, can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
Did you were you hypervigilant as a child?
Yes.
Like, yeah, okay.
Were you?
No.
Okay. Yes,
But I was an overachiever.
yeah.
So that's, I guess, a different type of hypervigilance. But like, it doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Yeah.
And also I grew up in a house of like, my dad also was a doctor. A lot of discussion of worst case scenarios and catastrophizing.
Of course, yeah.
And this idea, which is not really accurate, but like with the right amount of intellectualizing and sort of interrogating a situation ahead of time and thinking of all the possible outcomes, you can keep yourself safe. So, first of all, it's exhausting and it's not how the world works. And then when anything,
This is crazy.
I know. And then just fly into my lip gloss and be done. Then, like, when anything bad happened, I would be, you know, it really like caught me off guard because it's like, but I did
like, I'm
everything
always
right.
trying.
Yeah,
you're
I did
like,
everything right.
I'm yeah.
And I think like if I had to do, or rather with my kids, what I would like to teach them is sometimes bad things happen. And when they do, we will get through them. Because I think that's,
love that.
you know, better than this idea that the goal in life is to avoid something bad ever happening.
Oh my God, I love that.
Because then it's like when something, if you think that the goal is to think yourself into a situation where nothing bad will ever happen because you're making all the right choices and then when something bad happens, then you actually feel shame over
failure.
It. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, but I don't think I was consciously doing that in relationships. I think it just was sort of an anxious
sort of like
attachment.
your baseline.
And yes, but also I was like attaching myself to people that were withholding or that didn't want what I wanted, or, you know, I was always going for just the wrong type of guy. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because Dad's a doctor, so he probably wasn't always like around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And both of my parents were like not always, they were hot and cold is the wrong word.
Intermittent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think and they didn't intend to be, and they didn't want to be. And if they were to hear me say this, they would be hurt. But there was just like, there was a lot of stuff going on in their own lives that preoccupied them. So in my family, it's like the highs were very high and the lows were very low. I've actually never used that phrase about my family. I used to only use it about guys I dated, but I'm realizing now, like,
most of it's related. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. That's fascinating to me. I think it's really cool that you're actively aware of that and going to try and break that for your kids.
Yeah.
It's really, I think it's really special. I mean, the reality is, like, you will fuck up your kids, period.
Yeah.
You could be the absolute world's greatest mother on the planet.
Oh, and
I'm
I
sure
am.
you are. No, I'm sure you are. That's the thing. Like, you're trying, you're present, you're doing all the things. It could be that you love them too much. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's such a, I think being a parent, and let me tell you, people love hearing parenting advice from people who don't have kids.
No, but it's complimentary. So please keep going.
It's like, it's so thankless, and you know that you're up against this thing. Like, no matter how wonderful you love them, you are going to hurt them in some way or give them something that they're going to have to untangle. But I think to arm them with the skills of, like, that life isn't about avoiding the pain and the hurt and the shame and whatever. It's about getting through it. Is, I've never heard anybody say that. And so I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's
Thank
great.
you so much. See, Tony? Some people like what I have to say. Just kidding.
Was meeting your husband different than most other guys?
Yes.
Really?
And I have been thinking about this in watching Sex and the City because when I watched it when it originally ran, I was in my 20s and dating and obsessed with relationships. And I didn't have the reaction to it that I'm having now. I'll explain what my reaction is now. And then my question is, has culture changed or have I changed? Or, like, were they in? I watch it now and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the focus on relationships being the be all end all. That feels not ideal. And none of them communicate well. None of them communicate directly. Carrie is like flying off the handle, she's so passive aggressive and she's so, like, histrionic. I feel like is like a misogynist word, but in a way, she dramatic. Let's say something hurts her a tiny bit, and then she just, like, storms out, and she's like, "Well, if you're going to be that way, then blah blah blah." And I, if I was friends with anyone dating her, I'd be like, "This one, it's not worth it.
Gotta leave."
Yeah. God damn it. But
this fly is persistent.
And to someone listening, I sound insane.
I was thinking about that, yes. And even if they're watching, they can't see it.
They can't see it because it truly is
very
like
tiny.
It's like sand with wings.
It's like I'm yelling at,
Sand
like,
with
an imaginary man on my shoulder or something. Get out there.
Yeah.
Just listeners, viewers, just know there is something, and it is terrorizing me. Yeah. It just occurred to me
the tiniest terrorist.
Crazy this is going to sound. It is. I mean, it's a tiny terrorist. It's going to sound fully in. Oh well, so be it.
Too late now.
Be it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I watch it and I'm, like, exhausted by. What I'm wondering is, like, are the writers aware that she is very young in her, like, that she's really not, like, close to self-actualization, or is that just where I'm old now? I don't know. These are questions.
I think it's probably a combo.
Yeah,
because I think that, I mean, if you go on TikTok and you look at women giving advice or talking about love in their 20s, it does seem kind of similar,
right? Maybe.
So I think it's a combo of, like, the lack of self-actualization, but also being the thing they're so into. Like, for me, I'm obsessed with the relationships just because I think it's fascinating. Like, but so much of it does tie to our personal, like, not just romantic.
Right. Oh, but I'm obsessed with the way people relate to and dynamics and things like that too.
This is, like, hyper focused.
I don't have a problem with a show being about relationships at all. I just mean that they need the relationships to feel okay. Now, granted,
that's what I mean.
If it were a show about people who are, like, really, calm and they say things in the perfect way, like, they'd be really boring too. Like, I get that it's a show, but so anyway, but I watch it and I think all four of them who are all, like, trying to, the guy won't pay enough attention or isn't around or is pulling away or is this or that. It's just like, I watch it and I think, like,
so what?
Just opt out, like, opt out of all of the, opt out and just wait till someone comes along where it's not this hard, because that was my experience. Now, I'm not sure that's everyone's experience, but with Daniel, it felt so different than any of the relationships prior.
That's incredible.
It just, there were no games. He let me know that he liked me. I didn't wonder, is he going to disappear? I wasn't analyzing things. There was one, and I've mentioned it on the show before, there was one moment I think it was the first time we slept together. And then we were hanging out and he said to me, I have a really busy week at work coming up, so you might not hear from me as much. And I was like, okay. And I remember leaving and thinking, if he's going to pull away, this is probably going to be the time, because we did sleep together. But I'm just going to let it play out and see, because if he is going to pull away, and that's probably like the first time that I had ever had that thought of like, this is important information.
Yeah.
So I may as well, like, I never let things play out. I always tried to get in the way of them and control them and manage them.
Right. As opposed to just
let's just see
letting
what happens.
people show you who they are.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, we texted a bit, and then I remember he texted me and he's like, so when can I see you again? And I was like, oh, phew, you know, but that was really the only time that I had doubts. And it was barely a doubt. It was just sort of like, what's
the timing
happening?
And everything kind of lined up and presented itself. So you saying that made me think of something. I think that the way that we talk about sex has changed so much since Sex and the City came out. And that also might be a part of it. That like the dating books of that time are almost exclusively about following quote unquote rules and
literally
withholding
the rules.
sex.
Yes.
I think like the weird thing about dating in the like 80s, 90s was that sex was the bargaining chip that women had. And that I think has changed because now open relationships are a thing. And like, not to say that it wasn't a thing then, but it's mainstream now. You know, like I think a lot has changed and the women are different now. I'm sure men are also different, but like I think as you said that and feeling the insecurity after the first time you had sex and then feeling like, oh wow, maybe he's going to ghost now. Right. And like it clicked something with the show and
yeah. Did you ever read that book, The Rules? Time Tested Secrets?
Couldn't finish it.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I was like, this is trash.
Yeah.
This makes me hate myself and the writers and everyone, and I'd rather just die alone, honestly, quite frankly.
Yeah, I remember my grandmother sent me that book and it totally messed with my head, but it was, if anyone doesn't know,
it's like, don't cut your hair and like be blonder. It's like literally some of the advice.
And then it's like the appendix is like the rules after marriage. So you're supposed to never be yourself. But you set an egg timer by the phone and you only talk to him for 3 minutes. It's all about keeping the upper. It's all games. It's about keeping the upper hand. You always are the one who ends a phone call first. Don't accept a weekend date after Wednesday, which maybe is like not the worst advice in the world, but if you're doing it in order to prolong a relationship with someone that it's not right anyway, that's the thing. That's the thing that like in my old age, I've kind of and I might be wrong though, but I have sort of come around to like, when it's right,
it's hard to fuck up.
It's not, it's not so confusing. It just is kind of clear and it's easy, and all of that trying to figure out stuff and anxiety and all that is either a sign of that's sort of you're not ready, I wasn't ready, or it's a sign of like it's a union that
wasn't
you're
meant to
for
be.
It's forced. But maybe that's just me. Maybe there are people who it was hard and then now they're happy. I'm always a little bit like,
I kind of interview people about this, and that's not really what I see.
Do you normally hear people say like what I said? Interesting.
Yes, your story is common. I mean, not your story, but like what you're espousing is what I have heard.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Like it's fucking annoying to hear, but when you know, like, but it's like, no, when it just, I've never met anybody who is happily married who's like, yeah, fuck, it's a shock. It really surprised me. Did not see that coming.
Right, because he was like wouldn't commit for so many years.
No,
and-
I've yet to hear that. So
that's so interesting.
yeah, which is wild. I also was thinking, women couldn't get a business loan without their husband's approval until 1988.
Right. Oh wow, I knew about the credit card in the 70s, but I didn't know about
which is like the mid to late 70s.
Yeah.
So it does make me kind of go like, I kind of understand those rules. If like you're really playing to snag a husband that has the most money because that's the thing that's going to
take
change
care of you. Yeah.
right? Where like the priorities were just different.
Right.
Like I think that people now are looking at it and going, well, 51% of marriages end in divorce. 65% of the people on Tinder are married.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's dark. But like these are some like stats that are readily available to people. So if you're gonna do this thing, why not try and actually do it for love?
Yeah.
As opposed to
You don't need to do it for the other
the
reasons
status
anymore.
or whatever.
Right.
Like it doesn't seem as relevant. So I don't know. Maybe that is why it feels so different. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I just started interviewing you. It's just really fascinating to me, and
Thank you.
I love hearing that. And yeah, it makes me. I love hearing people's happy endings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do as well. Do you have a hey go fuck yourself?
Oh yes. It's a kind of a combo. It's hey, go fuck yourself to the sun and also to the FDA for making our sunscreen not so good. Our FDA is so out of date that like I get all my SPFs from Korea, Japan, or Australia, and they're like illegal. I was like, oh, when I was in my teens, I was illegally buying weed, and now I'm illegally buying sunscreen. Like this is like crazy. But yeah, just our FDA is so far behind that American sunscreen is just absolutely not as good as international sunscreens.
Hey, FDA.
What the fuck?
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Okay, this leads into my skincare questions. So I have seen Charlotte Palomino, is that her name?
Yeah.
On TikTok talking about the filters that are available in international sunscreens versus the ones that are legal here. But what is do they work better? Do they feel better? What's the difference?
Yeah, they just have better, they literally have better protection in
They
them.
do, okay.
Yeah, the ingredients in them better protect you from the sun.
Okay, then I need to get on one of these.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you mineral or chemical?
I don't care. I think if you're asking that question, it's one of two things.
Uh-oh.
Well, no. One, you already know way more about skincare, and so you're probably going to make up for it in other areas. And the reality is most people just need to wear sunscreen.
Right.
Like, you know what sucks more than chemical or mineral?
Skin cancer?
Bingo.
But I'm just curious, these different filters that we don't have, do you know if those are like mineral or chemical filters?
Oh, I think they are in both. Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there one that you would recommend?
So I use the Biore watery.
Oh, I've heard about this.
I'm botching the name. I use Isn't Tree. I use what else do I use? Oh, so this is my favorite one. It's just impossible to get. Although if you can get it and you are willing to send it to me, I am willing to pay you to do it. Ultraviolet. It's from Australia. I'm obsessed with their sunscreen.
Oh, yeah, the sun's brutal there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that brand is incredible. I that's my favorite sunscreen.
All right.
It's just
I feel like I do have a listener in Australia.
Oh my God,
think
please
I
hook
do.
it up for us. I'm just lumping us together
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm like, I want to get in
We
on
need this
again.
sunscreen.
Yeah, it's really so good. But then that's very hard to get. So if you can't do that, use Isn't Tree, Beauty of Joseon.
That's the one that Charlotte Palomino was talking about.
Yeah, or the Biore watery, whatever it's
It's like
called.
essence or something, right?
Yeah,
Water
something like that. And I didn't love that one originally because it kind of smells like rubbing alcohol. But I battle tested these sunscreens with the what's it called? The UV stickers.
Oh, I don't know about those.
So there's these UV stickers that you can put on your legs or arms or whatever. I have,
I do
if
know
you
about
like,
these.
if people want to find it, they can go to the link in my bio. I have like an Amazon store. Don't feel pressured to buy from there. Just if you are trying to figure out the products and you want to look at them, I do have them in like a category. There's these UV stickers And I basically put them on and then put different sunscreens and just saw which ones
that's fascinating.
lasted. And then the Biore one really worked the best. So I was like, well, I don't care that it smells bad. I'm going for whatever works the best.
All right. But now when you started the arts high school, you were very tan. Did you used to tan?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I went to a boarding school that was like up north. And so there wasn't a lot of sun. And that's how I got really pale.
Got it.
And then ever since then, I've just been very pale. And then I got melasma. And that really dove me into, well, I got acne pretty bad
Okay.
and had to deal with that. And then I had crazy melasma. I have Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid disorder. And so I have to take what is hormone, which has affected my melasma. And at various times it's gotten better and worse. And so I can basically tell you kind of anything and everything about that.
I see no melasma on your skin right now.
Thank
How
you.
did you take care of it? Or how did you get rid of it?
I mean, I've done it several times and I've done all the things that don't work. And then I could tell you what does work. I mean,
Please do. I
never
am
do
someone-
Cosmelan.
I don't even know what that is.
Great. Perfect.
I did so I had sunspots, not melasma.
IPL,
I did IPL.
is very bad for melasma.
Oh yeah, it can make it worse,
Yeah,
right?
it can make it worse. But for sunspots, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. So I would do a retinol hydroquinone combo. I have like several dermatologists that I go to, but this one of my dermatologists has me on Obagio.
I love that you have several dermatologists.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I'm going to need names when we're done.
I like I said, like I'm obsessed with skincare.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't like to wear makeup, and I'm barely wearing any today because I did the bio repeal, which is like a very, very new peel. And it's supposed to be like the first ever peel that's like a TCA with no downtime. Very exciting that I get to try this.
What's TCA stand for?
It's about the acidity.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a chemical peel.
Got it. Did it hurt?
No.
I've never done a peel. I think I'm afraid of them.
Yeah.
I've also never done microneedling because I'm afraid of that.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with
Really?
microneedling.
I don't know.
What freaks you out about it?
Little needles going in my face.
Okay. I can see
And
that,
also when I see videos of it. So all I do with my one wild, precious life is watch TikToks about aesthetics. That's like all I do these days. And so when I see microneedling and I see them wiping away the blood, I'm just like, yo, yowzers.
Oh,
That's why I sent in a question. You were answering skincare questions and I said, what do you think of like microneedling versus Clear and Brilliant?
And I said go Clear and Brilliant, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said unless you have pigmentation issues,
And then
I think.
it's safer to go. Look, Clear and Brilliant is like also, I love that I am speaking on this as such an authority figure when I am not an esthetician or dermatologist, but I am the person.
But Jackie said so
but
therefore
I'm the
you have the
person
seal
that,
of approval of
all
Jackie.
of my friends come to.
Yeah.
And you would be surprised at some of the people that ask me questions. I'm like, what?
Like famous people with butt plugs in their butt.
Yes. Or I'm like, I feel like so anytime you get like a laser involved, there's like heat, and that could be not great for people with pigmentation or people who are pigmented, have
Right.
like more melanin in their skin.
Yeah.
Clear and Brilliant has been around for so long, and it's kind of like I feel like it's the gateway laser. It's like the baby laser. So it's such a great place to start. I love Clear and Brilliant, and I tell people, I'm like, oh, that's a great one to go for. But then if you are trying to do like something that is for anti-aging or tightening or whatever, you want to bump up and work up to something like a Fraxel or like a CO2 type laser.
Now, what do you and I will never ever do it, but what do you think of Morpheus?
I'm not a fan.
How come? So for anyone who doesn't know, Morpheus, this is the thing that Jackie had, and she was on the show talking about how like her arm was flying up in the air. It is microneedling with radio frequency, and it's supposed to be very painful.
Yeah, I just think it's too intense, and
To be awake during, or just in general.
well, it's not I just think that like it's too severe and extreme. I don't like anything that is going to take away from fat in your face, because that's
Yeah.
like ultimately what makes you look younger.
Right.
Although apparently that's like a different setting, so they can just target specific areas. They say that. I don't. What's funny about this is that I have said this since I did a deep dive on Morpheus. And the number of estheticians, people who work at beauty salons or like medical centers, and dermatologists that have been like, I agree with you. I'm batting 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think it's like you got to get people off the record. Because anytime somebody's making their money that way, they're never going to sell you off of it.
Right.
That's like a huge thing. That's why I have multiple derms, because everybody's trying to make money, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to do what's best for me and not what's best for your wallet.
Yeah. So, new face, red light masks, what do you think of those?
Love.
Is there one that you love more?
So, new face,
because they're both expensive. So I was like, I don't know if I like. Do I need one of these, and which one would I need?
I mean, new face is using microcurrent, and it's basically like trying to like move the muscles in your face to, which you could do. It depends on how committed you're going to be. Like, are you going to do this every day? Because neither one of them are really going to make a dent unless you're consistent with it.
I mean, I feel like a mask I would do more, because you can just put it on your face and lie there, which is like my favorite thing to do.
I just also had like a weird flash of like every man listening to your podcast just leaving the chat.
I know.
They're just like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, we're done.
I'm out. The mask.
Yeah, I know new face is like much more intense. Yeah.
Like, the thing is, it's like there's so many like facial exercises you could do, like face yoga or something like that, that'll give you the same effect as like as a new face. I'm sure there are people that disagree with me, but it's like, really, I don't know. That's not going to, microcurrent is great and you look snatched for that day. It's like short term, and then if you do it every day, like, it can have a long-term effect. But if you're not going to do it every day,
But I don't quite understand how it works or what it does. Is it like how if a man is going to be in a movie, this is what I think happens. If a guy's going to be like on screen with his shirt off, he'll like do push-ups right before they film. Is it like that? Is it like, just kind of like plumping things
kind of,
up? Okay. And then what does a red light mask do? Again, I know you're not someone
so
who makes them.
There's certain wavelengths of red light. Oh, I used to know this. I think 6 is for skin and 8 is for your body.
Okay.
And 8 really helps with like inflammation and decreasing inflammation, and 6 helps with cell turnover, and it also does help with pigmentation. And if you have anything like eczema, that can be really, really helpful for that. So it's more of like a healing light and helps rejuvenate cells. It's like for cell turnover.
Okay.
How that exactly works, I'm not 100% sure. And blue light is for killing bacteria. It's anti-acne. And they do work, for sure.
They do.
But again, yeah, for sure. But you have to be consistent with it.
Right. Yeah, because I know that. So there's people that I follow who said that like their skin has never looked better now that they've started using it.
That does not surprise me at all.
All right. And then my final question. Do you know, do estrogen creams on the face make a big difference? And also, if you don't, I'm not in menopause yet, but like if you get a hysterectomy and get your ovary, this is so medical.
Yeah, so
like
that will throw you immediately into menopause.
Right, but will it affect your face?
Yes.
Will you age faster suddenly?
Yes.
You will, okay.
Yes.
But if you take hormone replacement, then you won't? This is probably a question for a gynecologist.
Yeah, but I had one on my show and this question did come up. So
amazing.
I'm basically that's why I'm able to be like unequivocally yes, because I had a girl write in about how she has to have a hysterectomy, and she's like, I think in her 20s or early 30s. And the doctor was basically like, oh, she needs to look into hormone replacement therapy because it will basically throw her into older age.
Right. Okay.
Like every aspect of her body. I don't know about the estrogen creams on the face.
Right.
I just don't know.
Because I was Googling that the other day, and there are people who claim that it like almost overnight like makes changes in the fine lines.
Send me those videos.
Okay.
Send me those videos and I will look into it.
Yeah.
Or I will send it to somebody and I will just say, hey, is this true or not? And he'll just say no or yes or whatever.
Interesting. And then there's people who are like, you don't want to be messing with your hormones, which obviously you don't want to be.
Well, that's why I'm like, why would you put it? So like, my question is, why do you put it on your face? Because are you trying to get it into your bloodstream, or like, what's it trying to do?
So apparently, putting it on your face, there's such a small amount that it doesn't get in. It doesn't affect you everyone do their own research. I'm basing this off of like a Reddit thread.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect you systemically. It's sort of like menopausal women. Again, I am not an expert.
That's basically how like a lot of skincare works.
Yeah,
but-
exactly. So like vaginal creams estrogen creams are used vaginally to like keep the tissue youthful, let's say. And it kind of would have the same effect on the face.
That's
the idea. I don't know if it's true. And I don't know if there's a risk either.
I'm sure there. Estrogen is something that I think is kind of risky to be messing with.
Yes, totally.
I'm excited to look into this, and I will definitely circle back,
please,
because this is something that's fascinating to me. Yeah. I mean, like I said, hydroquinone that's like my favorite thing for melasma. Although, if you really want to go ham, like oral tranexamic acid is something that you can do.
Oh, interesting.
Again, I'm not a doctor. You have to that's a prescription. And there are risks involved with literally anything and everything. So whatever, but like that will clear up melasma so fast. It's absolutely insane. But also so will, if you're willing to go slow and steady, so will like retinol and hydroquinone and that combo. Microneedling with PRP also really helps. You have great skin.
Thank you. Microneedling with PRP. I know that's been recommended, but that's the vampire facial, Tony, that I think we talked about on the show one time.
I've done it so many times.
Of course I know. Come on.
I've done it so many times.
Really?
Yeah. It's so not a big deal. They numb you. That's the worst part. The numbing part is the worst part.
How's that bad?
Well, you
just like
gotta
feeling numb after.
Yeah, the feeling numb and like gotta make sure it stays out of the crevices of your lips and just like you're like and it gets like oily. It's like that part I don't like.
Right. But then you really don't feel it afterwards because they numbed me for the IPL and it still was very uncomfortable. So then the next time I did it myself,
feels like a snap.
Yeah.
And microneedling, it depends on how many passes they do. The first pass you won't even feel.
Okay.
It's like maybe by the third pass. But if you're like, listen, I don't want this, then you could stop. I mean, do you understand why it works?
Yeah, because it's it making your body produce more collagen.
Yeah. Like so it's like either way, you're going to need to kind of do a little damage to the skin in order to
make it heal.
Yeah.
And look youthful.
Plus retinols.
Yeah. I think it's mostly just a mental thing of like the idea of a bunch of little needles freaks me out more than the idea of a laser. But yeah.
Well, then clear and brilliant it.
Rory, this has been so delightful. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me pick your brain about skin care. I do have more questions, so I'm going to be bothering your inbox.
By any day, email me, DM me, text me, call me, and then please come on my show.
I would love to. Please tell everyone where they can find your show, where they can find you, plug all your stuff.
Oh, right. I really was going to just walk away. Crimes of the Heart is the podcast. It's on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. My Instagram is at I could be blonder. I could be blonder. And then
blonde.
I am pretty blonde, but I could be blonder. And then everywhere else, I'm just at Rory Uphold.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tony, what about you?
On Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
Jackie.
and Bizarre Albums every Tuesday, and Motion City Soundtrack will be on tour late September and early October. And if you're in Los Angeles, be on the lookout for me getting hit by a car soon.
Oh, yeah. It might happen.
So funny because I was going to say that.
Sorry.
I was going to be like, and if you can't find him, he'll be at the front of my car.
And if you like what you're hearing, or even if you don't, please make sure you're subscribed, tell a friend, click 5 stars, leave us a nice comment. We read them on the show. And I'm on Patreon. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. All sorts of fun stuff there. You can get episodes of The Friend Zone. That is my Patreon podcast. There's a level where you can text me and I'll text you back, and more. And if you're going to do that, might I nudge you in the direction of an annual subscription because you get 2 months free. And then also check out my merch. It's relatively newish. I have a merch store now. I'm very excited about it. Go to AllisonRosen.com and look for the banner that says merch store or something like that. My merch is live. I have merch now. I don't know what it says, but it has the word merch. Click on that. It'll take you there. T-shirts, mugs, tank tops, stickers, everything you want is there. Follow me on social media at Allison Rosen. On TikTok, I am the Allison Rosen, I think, and I'm not that active, but it could change. And subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Allison Rosen. You guys, thank you so much. Rory, this has been delightful. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen show?